Fuck.
Hello, beautiful people. I don't know what Kris is doing, but welcome to the Kris and Gina show. We've got all kinds of fun stuff happening today. I'm live in the studio. Kris is doing something with his camera because he is somewhere.
Attempting to luxuriating.
He's supposed to be luxuriating. I don't know why he's not.
Can you guys hear
in
me?
the pool by now.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
You should be in the pool by now.
I am working on getting our other guest. So
Okay.
talk to the people for a couple minutes.
Party started.
Pardon me.
Okay. Our topic of the day is what men want.
Wow, this should be nice and spicy.
Yeah. Or it could be a really short show. I don't know.
Oh, no. It definitely won't be.
It won't be a short show. It will not be a short. That's why I wanted to get started soon. Because I'm like, this ain't going to be a short show.
No.
Okay. Hello. So the topic tonight we're gonna have it's Chantel Watson.
Hey.
Chantel Watson is joining us. She's on loan from In the Zone. She is our honorary third host.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
I feel so honored.
Yes, she pops in and gives an extra estrogen perspective when we need one in the studio because we have a lot of male shit going on in here a lot of the time.
Yes, it is.
And so we've got Kris, who is remote today because he's balling out of control and he's someplace luxuriating in an undisclosed location. And we have another guest that we're waiting for. So it's going to be two men, two women talking about our perceptions of what men want versus what they say
Actually
men
want. Oh, this should be uber fun. Do we
Yeah.
want to get started, or do we want to talk about a real hot topic while Kris figuring it out? That Carly Richardson.
Oh
Is it
my
Carly
God.
Richardson? Is that what it is?
We don't always talk about current events because it dates us, but all right. I had not been following Carly Richardson.
Nor have I.
We have our guest.
Oh.
Bottom line is,
And no one's interested in Carly.
we've been jussied again, I think.
That seems to be the consensus. And I don't have all the details at all, but I'm curious to see how this will play out over the coming days.
I think prison.
Jeez.
I'm just saying.
Yikes.
Anyway, okay, Kris, and now we can bring in our second guest.
He is backstage.
Hey, Sean.
Sean,
How you guys doing?
working
Good
it out.
afternoon.
We got Sean and we have Chantel.
I was going to say, this will not get confusing at all.
We will not call you Sean tonight.
I won't be Sean?
You will be
Fair
Chantel.
enough.
He will be Sean.
Fair enough.
Okay, is everybody ready for
Yes, sir.
our topic, our show?
It
Stay
is.
ready. Keep them getting ready.
We're getting ready.
Gina B,
Okay.
I'm not in an undisclosed location. I am in Tampa Bay for the 86th conclave for the greatest fraternity known to man, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Yo, for all the newts in town. So it is going down in Tampa right now. And for everybody else, it is National Hot Dog Day and National Daiquiri Day. So feel free to
Are
have
you
a.
having hot dogs and daiquiris in celebration?
At the same time?
No, we don't do
I
that.
would not suggest. Okay. Yeah.
I just say don't take a picture with a glizzy.
Right,
No.
exactly.
Okay, Kris. Well, I'm glad that you're okay. I was trying to keep it discreet for you just in case, but
Okay.
cool. What is that?
Somebody playing music?
Yeah. So, all right, let's get this party started. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring up some topics. And on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is not at all important and 10 is supremely important, I want you guys to tell me how important they are for you as far as what men want in a woman that you'd eventually like to maybe marry, okay? We're not talking about just bring home for the night, right? We're talking about who you'd marry, okay? We all good on this?
We understand the assignment.
As long as you understand the assignment, I'm just making sure. Okay.
And before we start, we know Kris is married. He talks lovingly about his wife all the time. Now, Sean, we don't know very much about you, or at least I don't know very much about you. Are you married? Have you been married?
Good point, Sean.
I am married. It'll be 24 years next month.
Oh,
So same woman. So the last 29 years. So I'm very married. And if this doesn't work out, I'll go back to high school, Sean.
To high school, Sean? Oh,
And
we
what
should
was high
probably
school
do a
Sean
show
doing?
about that.
yeah. What was high school Sean doing?
He went to a really good high school. Remember
Yeah.
Patrick?
Yeah. And we'll leave it at that. I'll let your mind
Right.
run. with
Okay,
what you
okay.
Oh,
think.
geez.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you for sharing that. That gives us insight to what we have to look forward to with what men want in a wife.
Okay, so what we have here are two men that have been married in excess of both of them almost 2 decades, right?
Yeah.
And then we have Chantel and I, who are we're both taken, right? But we're both technically single because we're not married.
I say you're a little bit more taken than me.
I'm
You're almost,
I'll
she's
be married
almost
shortly.
taken. She's almost taken
Yeah.
if she goes through with it. If
Yes.
she
If-
goes through with it, she
Exactly.
will be
That's
taken.
the key.
So basically, what we found out is Sean and I are the foremost authorities right now. So please fire away. with these
Okay,
questions.
fantastic. All right. So the first question is, how important is a woman's body count?
Oh, do we guess first, and then how are they telling us? How does this work again?
Okay, what do we think? How important do you think it is to men?
I think it's like a 15, honestly.
A 15
but
on a scale of 1 to 10?
if we're doing 1 to 10, I would definitely say it's definitely a 10, 100%.
I would say it's an 8.
You think it's an 8? Okay.
Because there are those cases where a man will meet a woman, fall in love with her, and then find out later, or maybe she's moved to a different state and he doesn't really know how
Oh,
much of a help she might have been.
and let's be clear, we're talking about black men, because
Yeah. I'm talking about-
the others is a whole different ball game.
Yeah. So I say
Well,
8.
men
She
are pretty
says
much
10.
men.
Huh?
Men are pretty much men.
Yeah.
No, I think white men in this arena they think a little bit different.
You think so?
I think they
Okay,
think a
so
little
what do you
different.
Trust me,
Disparities.
I'm a penis carrying man. I tell you.
Yeah, but you're not a white man, so
All
that
right.
part.
Okay, but where do you think white men sit on the scale? Just to see.
I think white men maybe like a 5.
Oh, you think it's a 5?
I think it's a 5 for white
No
men.
man wants a hoe. I don't
Huh?
need to be black, white. No man wants a hoe. I don't need to be black. Sean, you go first. I got my thoughts.
Yeah,
on
what
it.
do you got? 1 to 10, Sean. What do you think?
Well, how right is either one of us? Is one of us closer to what you think the truth is?
I think you're pretty much right. Gina's probably closer.
Okay.
But I would say it's in that upper echelon. And I would answer the question this way. It's so important, don't take offense, that women who have had a colorful past lie about it.
Yeah.
That's how important it is.
Exactly. I was going to say, to echo what Sean said, it is important. I don't care what race the man is. If she's a smart woman, people don't know her body count. But if he has wind of it prior to marriage, and it is what he deems a lot, and that number goes up as the person gets older, right? It is expected someone in their 30s or 40s has more partners than someone getting married
I hope
at
so.
25.
Right.
But it is important. I know people today say, well, men do it. We ain't the same. That's
Okay.
the answer to the question. So
1
if
to
the
10.
guy, I'm sorry,
1 to 10. Rate on a scale of 1 to 10.
10.
How important?
it's up there. I got it over 5. I'm going to go 7.
7. Okay.
7. Oh.
Sean, you say I was close at 8?
I'd say 8 or above.
Okay.
It depends on. It really depends on. We don't want to get too far into the woods, on the weeds rather. But it depends on the maturity of the man. It
Right.
also
No.
depends on the how large the number is.
So,
Right.
wait, so okay.
Yeah,
so
now that's begging for more
Right.
now,
questions.
what is a number that is too large? Like if you hear a number and you're like, "Woo, damn, girl!" Like what does that for you?
I love
If you
this question.
ask for me specifically, I will not answer specifically for me, but Chris Rock once told a joke. You know, you can have one man who will hear a woman say she's had 20. He's fine with it. But you have another man who a woman will say 3. He's, oh, wow, I guess that's how you were raised.
Right,
Yep.
Chris Rock. Yep, that's the Chris Rock one. I guess that's just how
So
you
it
were
depends
raised.
on the maturity of the man. I mean, but like I've said to a couple of my unmarried friends, the older you get, the more opportunity she has. That's all I say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're a single woman and you're in your 40s, let's just say you date a couple guys a year.
Yeah.
Let's just say you have a couple of relationships a year, and let's just say you have no one-night stands. Even that, you could rack up easily like 3 a year.
Yeah, if you
That-
date like
that
2
won't-
men over 10 years, that's 20 men. Right
That
there.
won't help the case.
And that's conservative.
That won't help the
Conservative
case.
number.
Because Gina, because the man's gonna think, man, she doesn't have any serious relationship. People just hitting and moving on, huh? See, we don't care about the reasons. We just move on to somebody who's a little more virtuous.
Okay.
We didn't make this world; we just live in it. I know.
Never
we just
mind,
live
they're
in it.
fucking wholesale.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Tupac said that.
We won't even
I think
get
that
into
I think that leads into one of our other questions about like being pristine. He did say virtuous. I think that's a
Virtuous.
better word than what
Right.
we were talking about.
Yeah, well, we were talking about the femininity question, or are you talking
No.
about is she a family values person?
Oh, I think
was the thing.
we had another question around being pristine. But
Yeah,
okay.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one on our list, which is okay. Now, how important do you think looks are to men on a scale of 1 to 10?
Ooh, see, this is very specific to the man. I would say like, and then we're talking about somebody you're gonna marry. I think like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
Like a 5 or 6.
And I think it's about 5 or 6 too. Wait, don't answer yet. We're just gonna give our answers, and we're gonna go to you guys, and I'll tell you why. We'll tell you why we think that, and you can correct us because we're sure we're probably wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'll start with this one,
oh, shut up.
unless you want to tell me what men think.
There's usually a discrepancy, and we talked about this before.
Yes, we did.
Between, you when you're young and you have male friends, and you hear guys talk about what they need in a woman, and she got to be this, that, she got to have hair down to here, she got to be boom, but and then you see who they marry. There's a delta.
There's
right?
usually a delta.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And plus, I will say as women, what we think attraction is different than men, right? Like I have definitely been around my male friends and they like, she fine.
you're
And
like-
I'll like say, where is she fine? I don't see it.
Strictly at an ass.
Yeah, they are. They're
Yeah.
looking at some titties. And I'm like, her face is easily a 2. Where are we looking at here?
Yeah.
How
So-
old are these men?
I'm sorry, what?
How old are these men? They're
I'm in my 40s, so
okay.
All right.
this was like in my 30s and 40s. So I do think there is a delta, not just in how men and women rate an attractiveness to women. So I think that's why it's around a 5 or a 6, because what they think is what they think is a 10 could easily be my 4.
Well, then also there are other things that factor into it. But anyway, okay. We are saying 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
What do you say?
Go ahead, Chris.
Number one, it depends on the man. If that man has no money and he's extremely unattractive, his numbers is going to be low.
I didn't get that. I didn't count the money part, but okay, fine. That's a fair.
It is what it is. A man with a lot of money, I don't care how he looks, he's going to look. He needs a dive. We are look based first. It will get you in the door. It does not get you a ring. Hence, you see a lot of women that look like video women. A man is sleep with anybody, but it will not. This show we talked about at the beginning. This is people who want to be married. We do not marry
Well, it's what men
solely
want.
based on look.
Right.
You guys don't get married based on looks?
No,
Oh, okay. That's.
I mean solely based on looks. Obviously,
Not
we marry
totally.
people. we
Okay.
think
Well,
are
yes,
attractive.
no.
You're not marrying a wheel.
Obviously, we marry people we think are attractive, but that is not the sole factor, nor should it be.
Right, but that gets you in the door.
That
If
gets
you're
you
not
in
in
the
the door.
And I'll say this, and I was going to say this at the end of the show. If a couple, or a man or a woman, married for trust, loyalty, friendship, respect. Those things keep you together, even if the man is sick, has a leg amputated, can't do whatever. If the woman gains weight, it doesn't matter anymore because he loves or she loves him or he loves her. So the reason you see these people breaking up is because those things have been replaced by money, sex, and looks. And while, they sizzle, they don't hold any relationship together.
Okay, we've got some comments that are in support. We've got some comments that say no, we don't. We've got some let's our producer can explode some of these. Yes. Men with money definitely have options.
They do.
Taisha Johnson. That's
as well
right.
as men over 6 feet tall, they have more options as well.
Exactly.
Even if they broke. But Sean, you didn't hop in here.
Sean, you're giving bad advice.
I'm not giving advice. I'm giving an opinion.
It's not an opinion.
It is opinion.
The men, now listen, men with money trump everything.
Okay.
It gives Jay-Z, Beyonce. It trumps everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
I
then
didn't. I'm
you
not
can go
disagreeing
after
with that point.
You can go after that, but it trumps everything.
Okay.
I got 2 daughters. They're going to date character first and find some money. I don't care what they do.
Okay, Sean, kind of hop in here. What are your opinions, looks? Are you in agreement with Kris?
Yeah, I'm in agreement, and I will tease it a little bit more. I would call it margin of error for both sides. You have a margin of error.
That's cute.
Like you have $1 billion, your margin of error is much larger than a man who makes $50,000, but he's attractive. So it is margin of error. And I say this all the time when people will comment about someone who's unattractive and they'll follow it up with, they're nice. Well, they have to be nice because they don't have a margin of error to be
Right.
a hole. So I believe I'll speak for me. Looks plays a huge role in it because I don't walk around and turn my head to someone who's unattractive to me. So that gets her in the door. The rest, you're not going to always be, gravity happens. I'll leave it at that. So you got to bring more to the table than looks, but looks gets you in the door. And if you're not in the door, then it doesn't matter. So yeah, it's very important.
So where are we on the scale of the what men want scale?
8, I would say 8.
We're 8.
Oh,
okay.
8.
Kris,
Oh, okay.
The what men want scale?
Yeah, they tend to think, but we shoot at 8 don't mean we gonna get an 8, but yeah, we want 8.
Okay,
Even
they
better.
want 8. We said 5 or 6. Okay,
I said 5 or 6. Okay.
So we fell short on that one.
All right.
All right. So next question. Next, this is fun. Next question. Okay. So how important do we think finance and education is to a man?
All right. So I think it really depends on what phase of life they're in. Meaning, like, what kind of level of success have they hit, right? I think men who are a little bit more successful, they'll start thinking about that a little. Ones who are a little less successful aren't. So if I had to, just jam them all together
Give me a number.
and give a generality, I would say probably a 5 or a 6. I mean, I hate to be, still middle of the road in it here, but you're like
I'm
a
gonna
5
go
or a 6.
3.
A 3? Education and money?
A man will pick a chick off the fry machine at McDonald's if she's got a big ass. And
Yeah, but would they marry her? This is a question. Marriage.
Well, sometimes they have married these people, which would get into my next question. But I think I'm gonna give it a 3. Man,
But how they gonna teach the babies how to read?
that's my whole point.
All right, Sean.
Okay, is this about this?
3?
Kris has a point, but I believe a man is gonna go to that woman that gives
Him.
undivided attention,
Attention, loyalty.
and trust is a factor. Okay, that's
Okay.
relation. Okay, that was from the last question. Okay,
Right.
Sean, you said a 3?
Yeah, that's rather low.
Thank you.
I see.
I said
and
3.
I believe so because for me, in a relationship, for me is don't ask me to do something for you that you won't do for me. And so if I go down, I get sick. Everybody knows I have sickle cell. So if I'm out sick, my wife has to be able to take care of the household. Therefore, she's got to make some money. Do I put a certain amount? She's got to make X amount before I even look at her? No. But you bring up the scenario of someone dropping fries. She got to be pretty damn fine for me to take her on a date and consider marrying her. And I know men, when we do this, we receive a lot more flack than women do. But I'm just here to tell the truth. How the audience deals with it, that's on them. It's the truth. Men want you to have just as much money. But
Oh, that is counter to what I normally hear. They want you to have as much money as they do. And I say that fairly often.
Well, but I think that Sean does have extenuating circumstances, though.
True. No,
So-
fair.
But you give it a okay. So your number there is what on the scale of what men want?
He said a 3.
3. No, he
no,
said you didn't
not
give it a
me.
3.
That's what you said.
That's what I
7.
said.
Oh, what did you said a 7?
7.
Yeah.
Wow, that's even
All right.
higher than me. Okay.
Chris Levy, you say what?
Wowzers.
All right, first I want to shout out to Miko Jones for a great question.
Yeah.
Men do want that undivided attention and everything that she put up. However, I will say looks get you into the door, period. Now, when it comes to marriage, a man with character and a smart man won't marry a woman who doesn't give him those things that Tamiko Jones put up. So that is 100% shout out to her. Thanks for joining the show. Now, on this, again, it's a plus if a woman has money. No man with character, who's self-assured, is going to be upset with a woman who has a bunch of money or a nice job. It is a good thing. It always is. But I will tell you, it is not the reason a man married. Serena Williams had $2 million. She slept with comics. She slept with Drake. They would not marry her, even though she had a bunch of money and was famous.
They're not marrying anybody.
Again, they do not marry because you got money. A man with character and money, listen, you don't. If I'm just, I use the example, Sean, Gina, if I'm the CEO and I'm working after work and I see young Halle Berry put in a cart because she's the janitor, I will ask her out if she's that fine. And if I find, and if we not coming up shout, meaning you gotta have enough money to cover everything, and she has the character, he will marry her, no doubt. I've never been with a group of men and they say, oh my God, look at the master's degree on that one. That degree is fine and good. It is for you. It ain't for me.
So
Okay, so
I assume you're like at a 3 with the
Where's
importance
your number?
level?
It is very important. I just said it's not the reason. Let's not change words here. It is. Listen, I don't do that. I'm gonna leave, whatever you say. I'm gonna assume that those are words you wanted to use, and I do the same.
Because
So my
we're rating the
words are-
importance of
There
it.
you go. It
That's-
is important. It is not the reason. It is not. It is not. But I'll give it a 5 or 6.
Okay, so Grand Wiz Theo had a point. Brian, you look at his comment. Can you blow that one up? Money makes a ball
Yeah.
spot look like a part.
All day. I like that.
That's great.
Now,
Again, margin
first
of
of all,
error.
thank you for
Yeah,
your
margin of
comment.
error. Shout out to Grand Wiz Theo. We gotta have.
But-
we gotta have Grand Wiz Theo on the show.
I would
You
love
have
to.
to.
Those comments.
You have
But
to.
here's the
We
question.
have
Is that like his or her real name?
But does money
No.
make a ball spot look like a part on a woman?
No.
That would imagine no.
Yeah.
Right?
See, this is the whole thing. So that's
If
the.
she
Unless
looks
you
like a
make it.
bear, she's the bear with money.
Okay, Tamiko Jones. A man want a freak in the bed, but a lady in the streets. A
Even
woman that can
though-
hold her own without.
Even
a man.
though I have heard a good
point.
number of men say that they would date Oprah even though they don't find her attractive.
Because a lot of those men want sugar mamas.
That's an
Yes.
extreme amount of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, y'all don't care, right? So
If I had Oprah
her
money, I'm
barriers
not
don't
marrying Oprah.
matter. Huh?
If I had Oprah money, I'm not marrying Oprah.
Well,
Yeah,
if
but
I
you
had
got
half
Chris's
Oprah-
money and Oprah hit you up.
If I had half of Oprah's money, I'm not marrying Oprah.
You might
If I
be at
had
the courthouse
10th
by
of Oprah's
3.
money, I'm not marrying Oprah.
You know,
Okay.
Edmund didn't marry
Well, Oprah didn't want to marry Stedman, to be clear.
True. She wanted to marry Ebert.
Gail.
She wanted to marry Ebert.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that
Neil.
didn't
That
quite
didn't go.
land where
That
she
didn't go.
wanted it to land, but I digress.
Yeah.
She wears a lot of
Okay.
beard.
So we've covered body count, we've covered looks, we've covered finances. What is the importance of family orientation? Like when you meet a woman and you think, damn, this woman could be she has the qualities of a solid wife and a good mother. She could teach the kids to read and all that stuff. How much of that factors in when you're considering a wife? Chantel, what do you think? Where do you think we are on that?
Okay, so this one's a hard one for me to rate because I very rarely hear men put this as a qualifier for a woman.
I know where it should be.
It should be at like a 9 for sure, right? But I never hear men talk about that until it's time to have children, right?
Or until they're mad about
So
who they
if
had
we're
children
talking
with.
about they're in the process of vetting, like, is this the one to get married? I think based just off of conversation, I think it's like a 4 going into the marriage. Now, once they in there, it probably raises, but going into it, it's a 4.
I think what happens, and this is just okay, so we're gonna let the men correct us, but I think that what happens is they're dazzled by what Chris Rock would refer to as new pussy. You know what I mean? Like that whole thing. And the next thing you know, they're in a relationship with that person, and the next thing you know, they have children with that person, and then they're like, she ain't teaching my baby to read.
Because she can't read
She
herself.
illiterate. Right, exactly. So I would give it a 4 too. I think they walk into it with a 4. Men, you say what on the scale of what men want?
Chris,
Let's start with you.
I don't know any men with good character or even dating any women who can't read. That's almost like saying, you know what I'm saying? That's like a baseline that's just there. So I don't.
Well, okay, let's not. She's not illiterate, but let's just say that she doesn't necessarily have all of the. You haven't sussed out all the mothering and family skills.
she just has a ninth grade reading
Are
level.
you looking for that in terms of what men want for marriage?
Again, all men, you want somebody you can definitely bring around your mother. If your mother would like her, he would like her. So, I'd like to use that as a baseline. And, I think if somebody couldn't put a subject and a verb together, my mother would have issues with it. Therefore, I wouldn't date her.
But that's because you're taking cues from your mother.
As you should know, if you want to marry a man, you should be close and really want the women in his life to like him. Y'all write that down in your notebook when you out here trying to get a husband. If his mama don't like you, he's not going to marry you.
Right. Okay. So where on the scale are we?
I mean,
Of importance, yeah.
That's the baseline. It is important, but I don't think that's something the men are overly concerned about with character. For we like. I mean, if y'all married, I put it 5, 6. But but again, I assume that most women have that. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay. What's our comment,
Sean,
Brian,
being able to be with the babies,
Yeah.
teach the babies to read.
That's high on my list.
Let's leave it.
Because
Okay.
my job as a parent to ensure my kid's life is better than mine. And it starts with those fundamentals of being able to read, math, and so on and so forth. If she can't do it or not willing to, if she can't versus not willing to, that's different. Because my kids were brought up, I did the teaching, although my wife was a teacher. I did the teaching, but I'm a little more intense about that educational part, obviously, because of the color of my skin. So, but it's very important to me because just like Chris alluded to, I saw how my mother raised my sister and I. And it's very important for me, for you to reflect that to a certain degree or more. Because I want my kids' lives to be better than mine. And they start with half illiterate parents, they're already behind the 8 ball. So that's very important. I would put a 9 or a 10 on that.
Oh, you've been. I mean, okay.
Nice.
So there's a gap between what we were thinking and what.
I
Okay.
have a follow-up question.
Wait, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
At some point before we end this, you should ask the question. Let me help y'all out. I think the women Sean have dated, the women I've dated, have all indexed high in those areas. What makes us pick one woman out of a group of 5 women who've all gone to college, all got money, all can speak? Why do men marry some and not marry others? That's a question.
Okay.
Well, okay, so
that's what a lot of women are faced with.
let's get into that now then, since you brought that up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's say we have 5 women.
Mm-hmm.
They're all looks-wise the same.
Yeah. They're hitting on all cylinders.
They're all 9s.
Yep.
They're all 8 or 9s, right? That's fairly high. They all have at least a college degree.
They slept
Right.
with 5 people.
They all have low body counts.
Yep.
They all make at least $80,000 a year. Some maybe a little bit more. So they all across the board are the same, right? And they all want to have children, and they seem like they would be. And that was actually going to be my question. Like, how do you all deduce if somebody's going to be a good mother or not when they have no children? But we can dig into that later. Right. Where does the pick start if all the women are the same? You got the pick of the litter.
I'll let Sean go first. I know exactly what. Go ahead, Sean.
They all gonna be loyal. They all are nice. Your mama like them all.
That's a tough question. For me, it's 2 things. It comes down to 1, holding a conversation, about things that I enjoy discussing, or at least showing an interest in being able to develop some knowledge in that area, whatever that area may be. But the other thing is, again, it falls back on me. Don't ask me to do something for you that you won't do for me. And for me, the relationship is, and people talk about 50-50. It's not 50-50, it's 100-100. We're both given 100%. And if there are areas where you want to define men do that and women do that, and we're all in these gender roles, you're not the person for me. So it's a lot of nuances. But why I selected my particular wife is that on our, and this seems minuscule, but I was 26 years old. But we went on a date, and I asked her to go out on a date with me. So I was expecting to pay for it, and she stepped up and she paid for it. And at the time, she wasn't making a great deal of money. Neither was I, but I was making more than her. But the gesture of "I got your back" meant a whole lot to me. And to this day, that woman has my back. And I was talking to my middle son about it recently, is that, you know, she may get on my nerves and I may get on her nerves, but when it's all said and done out in public, she got my back and I got hers. But when we come in here, we gonna scrap and fight and curse each other out. But out there, it's she and I together against the world. So that's it.
So that's yours.
I love
Kris,
that.
what you got?
Similar to Sean, I'm looking at, and what I did hear, that of these 5 women who are, you know, pretty much the same, I'm going to go with the one, who I like watching TV with the most, the one who's most loyal, the one who's most respectful, and the one that I trust the most. Those are the ones you marry. I can tell you, I'm disregarding immediately if she's loud and combative. I'm walking right past it. I'm not. I will sleep with her. I'll do whatever, but I'm not going to marry her at all. If she's disrespectful, if she's nagging, if she's emotionally insecure, I'm tossing her out. And I can see sometimes looking at how she's raised, because I can see how functional or dysfunctional her current family life is. You know, I can see who she was raised with, how they treat their kids, how her nieces and nephews are. I can look at your family and tell how you were raised. But how you act is more important even than that, right? Because we all got some wild cards in our family. So, you know, I don't put all the stock in that, but I am looking at you on how you treat me. I'm not as huge on gender roles either, but I will say this. There is one quarterback on every football team for a reason, right? And if you, and that's your next question, getting into that submissive thing. I know that's a trigger for black men. I'm real able to address it. But if a person trusts, if you have trust with a person, a man will do pretty much whatever you need. You know what I'm saying? Whatever he can, whatever he's capable of doing, if he knows you are there for him.
Okay, all right. So we've got some pretty interesting comments that have cropped up. All right, so what about your boy Khalid Hankins? Let's see what he's got going on up there. Inarticulate women are a product of total dysfunction. No man can fix dysfunction. Oh yeah, we
ain't got time to try.
Maybe she just didn't go to a very good school.
But let that be somebody else's project.
And let somebody else fix it.
That's somebody else's project.
Damn. It's cold-blooded around here.
Okay, let's go all the way to the bottom to we've gotten a little.
She don't want that. Then he leaves that woman, Nina.
Yeah, he leaves
Well, no,
that
what she's
woman.
saying. Well, I thought.
Read the question aloud for everybody. I don't know.
Yeah, we're a little behind on the comments. We're just addressing some comments that came in a few minutes ago, just to make sure that everyone feels heard on the Kris and Gina relationship show. Okay, so Louis Green has had a few interesting comments. He wants the woman. He has to be able to trust her. What else did Louis Green say earlier? Right there. The woman that knows what he wants before he does is really important to him.
Wow.
Which is interesting.
That's a very interesting prerequisite. Interesting.
That's what I mean. I want to,
Build a bear.
You want to build a bear man, Taisha Johnson? Okay. You just want to go in the lab.
Hey,
Sometimes you just want to go in the lab.
And make him better?
And make him better. Now.
Is that my cousin Taisha?
Oh, you don't? Good. I'm with you, girl.
Oh, she doesn't want. Okay.
Oh, I don't want to build a bear either. Jeez.
I thought you wanted to go in the lab and make the man. All right, so we were talking about.
If you go back to what Mina said. Just read it out for everybody.
Which one is that one?
What about if the man?
I just want you to read it for everybody.
Women don't want to have kids or aren't trying to have any more.
Well, I guess at that point, then I would assume right? If the man and the woman don't want to have kids, then the nurturing aspect or the prerequisite wouldn't be a prerequisite because they both don't want that, right?
Well, yeah, if they both don't want one, it's a non-issue. As long as they're on the same page, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Right. If they don't, yeah, you have to agree with that. That's kind of
Meaning
primary.
we have to be psychic too. That's all you got to do, man, is be real nice, and you're gonna get a lot out of a man. See, a lot of women these days come with lemonade and lemon, and and expect somebody to just fall all over.
Hey, Jamal.
Jamal Matuka says, I disagree. All a woman has to be is coachable.
Oh,
Jamal,
God, I hate him.
That's the pimp game, you know.
He's like, I can train that.
Got to be able to.
Well, no,
But isn't that the essence of a long-term relationship? No
Is
one
everybody
comes
coachable?
into a relationship a finished product. I'm vastly different than I was when I met my wife because I wasn't a hugging person, but her and her family were. And the first family function at her house, I was so uncomfortable. But now it's a part of it. I'm able to hug anybody in the family that I know. But also the other aspect of knowing what I want before me. My wife will go shopping and come back and bring me something to eat. And I'm like, how did you know? I just knew you wanted.
Yeah. Okay. So I agree that more than the hugging.
Okay.
part.
My wife's not a
She said,
hugger.
ooh, hugging.
Look, my wife's not a hugger. She's still
I'm
not.
never
No.
a hugger. I always feel like I'm being assaulted when people that I don't know grab me.
I mean, I guess I can see the coachable part. I don't know if that's coachable or being malleable, right? Because I think you have to be open to being or adaptable, open to being different because you're going to have this person with a completely different set of whatever to previous, and you have to be able to roll with the punches of that person and learn. So I like it.
Yes.
I think Jamal used the word coachable to trigger.
He's a troll. He's a
He
troll.
enjoys doing that,
It is what it is.
And then-
Jamal has a deep vocabulary. He did that purpose.
Yes, he does.
Oh, you know him too, so you know he's a troll as well.
Lee's
Yes.
being nice. He says that
We
I do
troll
that
each
for him.
other.
Aww.
Isn't that sweet? Thanks, honey. Lee wants me to come home and cook dinner is really what this is about. Mina says being thoughtful and psychic are two different things.
I think
So,
she's referring to the comment of
Yes,
being
just
able to know
knowing.
what you want before you want it or as you want it or whatever the comment was.
Exactly.
Which that's a lot of pressure as a woman.
Well, but here's the thing: when you to Sean's point, when you know your person, you kind of have an idea.
True.
As to what, and if you don't know what they want, you definitely know what they need.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then to take the action a step further and to actually provide it, I think makes them feel like you're looking out for them. And
It's
I
the
think
Claire Huxtable
that's
thing.
it. Yeah.
It's the Claire Huxtable thing, what she did with Cliff all the time.
Yeah.
You're not eating that. You're eating this.
Exactly.
You
You
know.
know, some might call it bossy. Maybe Lee would call that bossy. But you know, once if you know the person, then
If a person knows that you have their best interest all the time and they don't doubt it, they won't ever think that.
Right.
Which is why, when we hear what I call toxic men toss that I need a woman to be submissive word around, they are wrong. You can't tell a girlfriend or somebody you sleeping with that they need to be submissive. But in a marriage where we vow, your happiness is just as important as mine.
Right.
If I know a woman is thinking that, I know she asks me I should eat something, whether I agree or disagree, I know she has my best interest, and vice versa.
Right.
So that's all I get with that.
Yeah, you want people who are acting in your best interest, really.
Absolutely.
And people who go the extra step. So
All
that's
right.
important.
We're going to dig
So,
into submission now.
Should we dig into submission or
Dear
should
God.
Submit and be happy.
Should we do a trigger warning before?
Should we? Yeah, maybe we should. Submission triggers people.
Again, the words shouldn't. I'll start with this one. The words shouldn't trigger anybody because you're only going to be submissive to somebody that you know is leading you in the right direction. So, if for instance, and again, can't be two quarterbacks on a team. At the end of the day, somebody has to make a decision. And I know different households work differently, and that's fine. Whatever works, works. But it's not meant to mean a slave mentality. It's not mean to do what I say. It is not mean to demean. It is not meant to take away your, brilliance. It's not meant for that at all. And I think people when men use it that way, they're wrong. And I hear a lot of young men you throw that around. I see older men throw it around. They're wrong. But I do think in a marriage, if you are with, again, I'm a believer, but I know some people aren't. But if my wife knows that I'm submitting to the Lord, she's going to submit to me because she knows that everything I'm doing is good and in her best interest. Now, if I'm making reckless decisions for the family, of course she's not.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
And also, she knows, because I feel the same about value her opinion as much as my own. If she feels something is different, she's going to tell me. And if I'm running this family in the interest of the best, I'm putting my ego aside, and that's going to be the answer.
Right. Jamal
So that's
Maju
all
has a
I'm saying.
comment.
Oh God.
Here we go. He's got a good one though. It means to be vulnerable, allow someone else to take the wheel besides Jesus, right?
Amen.
So, and then you use the quarterback analogy.
Mhm.
Yes, one quarterback, but prior to the play being made, the team does huddle.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Absolutely.
The team does huddle.
Everybody has a voice.
And the
My
quarterback can
12-year-old,
execute.
14-year-old has a voice.
Yeah, everyone should have a voice. It's not about dictation. And you're right. It's that you've got to be the person that someone wants to submit to. There's a lot of brothers running around here saying they want a queen, but are you a king?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely a lot of false dudes running out here, so you're right.
Yeah. No,
But I would say there are a lot of kings running around. Don't be mouthing
Let's
off
not go
at them
crazy.
because you're mad at the last 15 dudes. You won't get a chance to submit.
And Mina
You'll be out
says,
here running your own shit forever.
okay, Mina says, I think many women have a hard time with submitting because they haven't seen it modeled in a healthy way, like in the home, church, the media, society in general.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, right.
I've always thought women have a hard time with it because, especially for women who are in leadership positions in almost every other area of their life, it's very difficult to downshift just in one area. If you have like 20 areas of your life and 19 of them you're driving it,
Alpha.
it's almost impossible to go to this 20th one and shift to third gear.
I agree. That's exactly right.
It's very difficult to give the reins over. But I think if you are, according to Sean, we not kings. I never said that. I was going to say what I was going to say and see if somebody called it, but I digress. Don't be trying to bring stuff I said on my show on here. Go off,
Different
king.
show.
Now
You go
what?
another show.
You can't. But you're not going. Unfortunately,
Uh-oh. Brandon
life is
Howlett,
just
shots
unfair.
fired.
That's just how it is. And most times, unfortunately, men aren't going to give you. They ain't taking all that into consideration. You just got to fix that. Just like a woman under on some dude that's broke, he misses out on that. She's not waiting around on him. She going to somebody with some money. And a man is not waiting on somebody to learn how to fix their mouths because they're very disrespectful. He just moves on because he has options.
Okay. Let's see okay, Brandon Howlett, shots fired a little bit here. Black women.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Black women have a hard time with it. Say it, Chris.
Well, we just said that. Well, I just
know.
said that.
You just
They
said
don't like being accountable. And I would say that because we ain't got that much time. I'm going to tell y'all what I see in a lot of women, not all women. What I see in a lot of women, for instance, I always give both sides. Let's say a dude messes up. He looks at his buddy. Hey, man, I screwed up. I messed up. I apologize. I'm trying to make it right. A woman would say, I only did it because he did this. And her girlfriends would sit around her and say, girl, well, you're not wrong. They're never wrong. It's always a reason. And I'm saying, fine. People have decisions. It's free speech. Those people don't get husbands or keep them. So I'm not saying it's right. It's just how it is.
Okay,
Don't get advice. Don't get relationship advice from your single friend.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, no, because you'll end up.
They don't
Okay,
know
that's a
shit.
totally different show. We can talk about that all day.
I don't know if
So
I agree
it
with that
seems
one, but
like
okay.
it seems like we had some lower ratings where the men had some higher ratings.
Yeah, we did overshoot on some and
We overshot.
undershoot on a lot.
Yes, we sure did. But I think, Chris, did you say that you have some tips to share?
Well, yeah.
Of course, Chris got
Of course,
a list.
Chris got tips.
Well, I wanted to talk about some things don't do.
Oh,
first.
Brad Foster. Uh-huh.
What you don't do is try to belittle a man. How you handle conflict when you're dating will decide if a lot of good men with character and money will marry you. See, things are going to come up in any relationship, married, single. They're not for one or the other side. But how you handle that conflict, are you calling him stupid? Are you cursing him out? Are you belittling him, disrespecting him during that conflict? You don't win. So I ask people, do you want to be right or do you want to win in your relationship?
Okay.
So, and a lot of women, because of the reasons Sean mentioned, have a hard time with that. They will not apologize. They will not be accountable for it because they don't want to seem weak. I get it.
So
It just doesn't work when matters of the heart, when somebody is trying to be right and he'll just move on. A lot of times, good men will admittedly probably take on a little more blame than we normally do, or than we normally deserve, because we know peace is important in the house.
Okay, so on the scale of what men want, let's to encapsulate that part.
Sure.
You want a woman who is not going to be, who's going to fall on the sword and understand when she's been wrong, admit it, take some responsibility for it, and contribute to the relationship that way, correct?
Yeah, I mean, they got to be, respectful.
I mean, this is a what men want show. So
Yep.
I'm just trying to
Men want to feel appreciated.
Okay.
See, we don't care about spending all our money, but we do care about you not appreciating me.
Okay.
And
We do.
respect.
Okay.
And
Right.
respect. Because
Right.
when we're having an argument to try and hit below the knees, so to speak, that's a deal breaker. Because
Yep.
when the rest of the world is fighting against me and I'm coming home and I gotta come home in this crap, that's a deal breaker.
So you want a
No.
woman, okay, so to just kind of paraphrase what you're saying, you want a woman who will be your peace.
Yes.
Okay. So that's a 10 probably. On a scale that's
15.
That's a supreme
Yeah,
okay,
that
that's
can't
off
be
the
under there. That
charts.
can't be highlighted enough.
Okay, so that seems to be the biggest.
It's a very synonymous
that's
saying on
overlooked.
Facebook.
That's
Be my peace.
Be my peace. That's
That's why you got a lot of fine ass women out here that's not married. They getting slept with, but they're not
Yeah,
getting married.
They're another piece. Spelled
yeah, they're
differently.
getting
Yeah,
a
they're
piece.
They
different
P-I-E,
They're
P-I-E-C.
You're right.
Yeah,
Not
good job, man.
PEAC.
They're
Not
another piece.
P-E-A-C-E.
Right.
All day.
Two different kinds of peace.
Oh my God.
What's Jamal Matuka got for us? We got some comments at the bottom. Also want to feel like I'm more than a sexual object. Oh my God. Please stop.
Troll. I promise we just
David
need to change his
Thomas.
name
That's
to
right,
a troll.
Jamal.
I think
Hey,
a woman doesn't
Chan.
want to continually take accountability while the man takes advantage with repetitive behavior. Yes, you know what? Apologies without a change in behavior is abusive behavior. So,
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You need to get it. If that's happening, you got to get a new man.
Yeah.
See, when men say, "Oh man, she's taking advantage of me, she's going to spend my money," and I always ask, "Well, you're
Wait
the
a
one,
minute.
and you're continuing to stay with her. You got, don't, you might drop your napkin in front of a lot of men. Don't pick that up. You don't have to remain in the place."
I'm with
All right,
Nina
so
on
Nina
that.
says, this is interesting. She says, being someone's piece is too lofty. Humans are incapable of doing it. We can add to the peace you should already be getting from God.
Man, that was a word.
No,
But-
we deal with things outside of work too, and it's nice to come home. That I do see that as peace. I just respectfully disagree with the statement.
Yeah,
I
I'm
do
not
too,
100%
and I agree.
with that
I
one.
disagree with the statement before that. If a man brings peace that goes without saying, then peace is given. It's
Yeah.
not a transactional thing.
Right, and you got to stop that. That doesn't work.
No. Well, I think that there's a certain peace that you have, inner peace within you, right? And wherever you derive that is, like the universe, God, whatever deity you worship, however you meditate, whatever you do. But then someone can't be like undermining your peace, right? Like if you've got inner peace yourself, then what you want at home is
somebody
who
who
contributes to
or supports that
or
piece. Yeah.
supports the peace that you already have. So I don't think anybody, if you're not a peaceful person, and if you have a lot of unrest in your own being, then
But-
someone can't be that for you.
Yeah, I think
That's
that's
not-
what she's trying to say.
No,
People
no,
can't
no,
bring
this-
something
this-
that
this-
isn't already there.
That's not what we're saying. The world brings you drama.
Duh.
You might get fired. You might get cursed out at your job. You want to go home to someone who brings you peace. We
Right.
mean exactly what we're saying.
Yeah. So what did Brandon just say?
And wait, go back to Taisha and one more, because again, those are those transactional
Wait, Taisha,
relationships.
that's what we're going
You
to
do
follow.
for me, I do for you.
Too far.
That doesn't work.
Because
But isn't that the nature of relationship?
No,
It's
no,
a give and
no,
take.
it's not. That's the nature when you dating somebody or you want something from somebody, or they do for me, I do for you. But when we're talking about marriages, someone that you pick, I said it before, a good man will gladly give you his all. He may not have any food so you can eat if y'all broke. And then he will worry about himself later. See, if you love somebody, you want them to be happy no matter what, not just because they make you happy. And people who have that mentality typically get caught up in tit for tat and do not make it in long-term relationships.
Okay, so
I'll illustrate it this way. For Father's Day, and this is not me trying to be Pollyannish or whatever you want to say, for me as a father, I never wanted anything for Father's Day because my relationship with my kids is not transactional. They didn't ask to be here. And I view that the same way as a relationship, a marriage. Since we're talking about marriage, my relationship with my wife is not transitional. I'll cook her breakfast in bed so she can give me this, or I expect that. No, I'm doing this out of my heart. And, you know, when it comes to gifts, I really don't want any, but I shower my wife with them because it's not transactional. For me, it's not give and take.
Okay,
you know?
I have a bit of a. Okay, so first of all, I have one little disagreement with what you just said, but okay, let's.
I disagree too. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Having peace in your home is adding to your peace. I can't be your peace because I'm imperfect. I got my own shit I'm dealing with too.
And that's how I understood her comment.
Yeah, that's how I
No,
understood it as
perfect doesn't. You don't have to be perfect to get peace. The two mean nothing, have nothing to do with each other.
well. Right.
I don't even see why that was said.
Yeah. Also, you know, what part were you going to disagree with?
Because all relationships.
Then we gotta-
And okay, well here's what I'm gonna say. We sat here saying what women have to have. They have to
What
bring
men want.
into
What men
a
want.
relationship for you all to make them a wife.
Right.
That's the nature of a transaction. I don't understand how you can then say in a marriage it's not a give and take. People have to give something in order to receive something.
No.
Now that doesn't mean money. That doesn't
No.
mean it has to be actual tangible
I
things.
know,
But
there-
nobody's. I wasn't done. Nobody's going to be in any relationship, whether child, dog, cat, mom, son, and you don't feel like you're being appreciated, like you're not getting something in return.
Sure.
Now, that thing in return could be appreciation and love, but you give that because you are receiving something that you
What are you
want. That is the nature of a
disagreeing with?
transaction.
What are you disagreeing with that you heard?
I just told you that you all are saying like, no, there is no transactional. There is no give and take. There absolutely is give and take in
I guess the difference is the word I miss out saying the expectations of something in return. I'm giving
Right.
this to you because I'm giving it to you.
But I
I'm
just
not
gave it to you.
expecting something in return.
But don't
Because
you
that's
expect something in
based-
return?
A transaction is based on something. We're not doing it based on something. We're not. We're just doing it, or vice versa.
Well, the other piece that, and this is kind of off, but the part that you said that I have to bring this up, Sean, because you said you don't expect anything from your kids on Father's Day because they didn't ask to be here. I feel like, you know what? They should still respect you for what you do for them. And
Yeah.
they should, absolutely. If you do not train them to honor thy father in the house, then they're not going to translate that into their relationship.
Well, why does it have to be a gift?
That's
Why-
Honor doesn't mean a
but-
gift.
Did anybody say
But it
that?
doesn't have to be a gift. You expect respect. You
Yeah.
expect honor. You expect
Absolutely.
loyalty. those are expectations.
And you should go and
Absolutely.
do a little something for your father. Like, look, I knocked myself out to do stuff for my father just to show him
Yeah.
that I gave him some extra thought.
And that's
And
fine.
I respect that, but for me, it doesn't.
I love it.
Doesn't boil down to the third Sunday in June for me.
Right.
No,
Every time.
absolutely
But
not.
if it's
Right.
Father's Day,
Right.
do something every damn day.
See, let's at least say I love you. Something.
They're supposed to respect you. They're supposed to respect you 365 days of the year.
Yes,
So we
yes.
get that if
Okay.
we've done our job.
Exactly.
We're
That's
saying the
what
gift
we're
is not necessary for anything. A transaction is I hand you something and because I want you to give me something. And it's not that. I
Maybe
give
it's a barter. Then I don't know.
No, stop with that.
It's gotta
Stop
be.
it.
You gotta be symbiotic, and we're
No,
open.
We can have different opinions. It's okay.
Sure can.
You
It's
can't
really
have different
okay.
opinions on what men want to get married because what you're saying is not what they want to get married.
Okay.
So you can believe that it is, but I'm just telling you the title of the show is what men want. You know,
I
marriage,
don't
this
think
is not one of them.
what I said was in reference to that.
We transact with women we don't marry.
Okay.
Okay.
It's your show. Go off, King.
All right. Well,
I'm not going
we're
off,
over.
but I don't want people getting bad advice.
This is your show. They're not here to listen to me. They're here to listen to you.
Again, it wasn't anything with you. It was the advice that was not correct.
I never gave advice.
All right. On that note, it is 7:03. Yeah, people are expecting things on Father's Day. They know what's up. It's 7:03.
Brandon say you want some Heineken?
Barbecue. What up, Brandon?
Leave the fuck alone. Right, that's what I want.
Yeah, that's the big thing that men want, the 3 Fs. Now that'll be a long-term relationship. 3 Fs.
What are the 3 Fs, Sean?
Oh, I know what they are.
Feed me. The second one.
We curse here. Well, I take it back. This is not my show. Maybe they don't curse on the show.
So go ahead.
Well, F me and shut the fuck up.
And on that lovely note, that's what men want. Sean just encapsulated all of what men want.
That's the end of the show.
3 Fs of a good relationship.
Nothing away. Yes. If you take nothing away from this, take that. All right, everyone. We will see you next week on the Kris and Gina Relationship Show. Thank you for joining us. Kris, enjoy your time in Tampa, Florida.
Cool. Sean, you going to come back next week when I'm in the studio?
Yeah.
Are you talking to that Sean or this Sean?
You.
I don't live in Chicago. I'm in Tampa.
You.
I don't know. I don't want to be on here giving bad advice, so I got to think about it.
I sort of like Sean telling me off. I do it on purpose.
I don't want to be giving your viewers bad advice about how white men don't care if you're a whore or relationships are transactional. I don't want to be doing that. So
at the end of the day, people don't marry because they need each other. They shouldn't. People, a woman should be fine just about. And
I agree.
Yeah, you marry somebody because they need something. It's a bad thing.
I agree. Yeah, well, I don't know. People need to be loved.
People need love. Anyway. All right, good people.
Good job, Gina B.
Beautiful show. Thank you so much for joining, Sean. Thank you for being a guest.
Oh yeah, Sean is one of our favorites.
Love your.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. After the day of work, I needed this.
Yeah.
And thank you to our honorary third co-host.
Thank you guys for having me. I always have fun
here. Being here. So, all right. Then thanks to our producer.
All right, Gina B. Later.
Right. Peace and grace.
Have a good one.
That was cute.